Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevene. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening today. This is a podcast where one of us is watching a movie for the very first time, and today that is myself, that is Tommy, that is our special guest upstairs, Steve. Yo, what's going on, fellas?
What's good?
What's good? So at the start of before we recorded this fine program, well, I made a comment because I can't speak for these other two gentlemen, but I remember this movie coming out. I remember it being marketed everywhere. I remember it being nominated for a whole bunch of Oscars. But when I watched it for the first time, I was unaware that the entire thing was in Mandarin. Now, for our dedicated listeners of the show, they know Tommy loves a good pun. He knows he loves taking a movie quote and throwing the word podcast in there. So I challenged him. I said, Tommy, can you come up with a movie quote in Mandarin with a podcast pun? And he straight up told me no.
Yeah,
he just told me no.
First of all, he didn't try, which really is
he didn't try.
Well, you gotta know your own limits. That's why I limit. I mean, I even got Chinese food while I was watching the movie in hopes my fortune cookie would have a learned Chinese part on the back, so I'd at least have like a word to give him. But unfortunately, I went to a really nice restaurant. They didn't give me a fortune cookie, so no good fortune for me. No good fortune for the podcast. Tommy did not do.
You're not getting ripped off when you don't get the fortune cookie.
Nah, well, this place is a little too fancy for the fortune cookie. It's not like
is it like an Asian? Is it like an Asian fusion place instead of like?
Yes.
Like where you can get Chinese, you can get pad thai, you can get sushi, you can get all that stuff there.
That's exactly what it was.
So for me, I like my Chinese. Like I want to go into a place where it has not been renovated since the 80s. You know what I mean? Like you go on the inside and you're just like
it still has like the same like generic graphic.
The menu's all just sun bleached.
Yeah,
like
the pictures
over the counter.
The sun bleached thing. The pictures are 40 plus years old. They haven't updated the menu one single time. Like that's what I want out of my Chinese food.
That's the best Chinese takeout.
You know, that's when you know you're getting the best. Like, and then you get the white box, the white canisters. Oh, it's the best. It's the best. But we're not here to talk about Chinese food. We're here to talk about a Chinese film that is a partnership of a lot of different production companies from China, from the United States. We will get into all of that. What was your guys' impression of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
All right, well, I guess I'll start. So, this movie celebrated its 25th anniversary. That's why we're covering it for our action movie month. The first other movies we covered this month were more on the 80s action movie type. We covered Rambo. We covered, First Blood, rather. We covered The Rain Man. We covered Aliens. And then we covered this, which is a total departure from everything else. But I expected this to be more so like, I feel like this is a movie that got parodied in like Scary Movie and stuff like that back in the day.
It was huge. It was gigantic.
It was huge. It was everywhere. This is a movie like you'd see playing at like a Best Buy on the TVs there or something like that.
Oh, this is such a TV demo movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
And but overall though, I thought that it was like the action was really fucking sick in this movie. But there's some parts in terms of like the actual like plot and stuff like that where I felt a little checked out at points, but still enjoyable time.
Oh, gee, Tommy, I wonder why. Maybe it was because the whole thing was in Mandarin, maybe.
Because I had to read.
And you have the attention span of a fly, and also
Tommy
you
hasn't
cannot
read for 2 hours.
Since the SATs, probably.
Yeah, probably since the SATs. That would make sense.
It's been a while.
No, but I still appreciate like the foreign films in here like this. And this movie, Crouching Tiger, is the highest grossing international film in the U.S. up until recently, back in July, when like Demon Slayer got released or something like that.
It was some anime. It was some anime. It was everywhere in the movies.
That was a big deal. That was a really big deal.
I don't think none of us are anime guys, so I don't know if
it's to the point that you didn't even say it right.
I have friends that are. And let me tell you,
everybody knows an anime guy.
Anime. You're gonna get canceled by the whole manga culture.
That's fine. That's fine.
I think it's manga, I forget.
Manga, it's Wazi.
It seems like they don't mind either pronunciation of that. One of my takes of this movie is that this is a live action anime movie. It feels like, I know it's Chinese and anime is Japanese, but it feels very similar to like the I know there's like what's the name of the art style? It's the one that Dragon Ball Z because I've only seen 2 animes, well, Dragon Ball
Well,
Z when I was a
that's
kid,
a manga.
and then Cowboy Bebop. Those are the only 2 animes I've ever seen, and
There you go.
it's just reminded me of Dragon Ball Z a lot. It's like it's very stoic, and then they, like, fly around and stuff, and the physics of everything don't make
Well,
sense.
No
yeah,
explanation
yeah.
as to why they
The
fly around or walk on water either.
I
Don't
I
need
am,
one.
so fine with that, by the way, like, there's no
I'm totally
explanation
cool with
for
that.
it.
I was just watching this movie and I'm like, oh, this is a really cool action movie. Oh, they can fly. Just not going to question it at all. It's like,
it's amazing.
it must be a part of
And
their style or whatever. Like, cool.
the wire work is so fucking funny in this movie too, of like how it moves and just how like smooth it feels when it
It's
just like immediately go up in
very
the sky. It almost reminds me of like Superman 78 and like some scenes where you see like Christopher Reeve like take off and just
Because you
using the
see them
wire.
literally dipping up and
Yeah,
down. Like,
but
up
it
and down.
yeah,
It's cool though. It
but,
yeah.
works.
now but it makes me appreciate wire work, and it's clearly not done enough anymore the way that it used to be, like, on these fully built sets, and it's, like, this beautiful backdrop, and nowadays it's like, "Oh, Superman's flying," and it's just, like it's just filmed on a green screen, you know? It's
Yeah,
just, like, it it lacks like, specialness of, like, practical effects and how they
Yeah.
are done compared to
Just
today,
what CGI has replaced,
what
well,
essentially.
this
replaced.
has like such great sweeping landscapes too. I'm just like, there's
Yeah.
a reason why this movie won like best
Where
cinematography at
where
the
was it
Oscars that
filmed,
year.
by the way? I don't know if we've been up on that research quite yet. Was it all filmed in like China, or was it like? Because I mean, there's some like
Uh,
canyon areas that could have been filmed in like
it
America
was
too.
filmed in China. You know, there's some places of like in the Gobi Desert and stuff like that where it constantly rained. That was like where you have the big sweeping shots of them like stuck in the desert at that point. And then you have like some locations like in Hiroshima, which was like a city over there, and Takuman and Shanghai, all these
Cool.
different other places in China. So, and
Good.
Ang Lee, I mean, are you guys any Ang Lee shooters here? Were you guys big Hulk fans? The Eric Bana Hulk movie?
No,
Life of
Tommy.
Pi.
Yeah, Life of
Crickets.
Pi, anything like that.
Richard Parker.
It is wild that Ang Lee followed up his Oscar-winning film with Hulk.
Brother, if you get thrown $20 million to make a Hulk movie, you're gonna do it, right?
Yeah, you're gonna do it. Of course
You
you
know,
are,
there
and you're
there
gonna
is
do it
just
well.
when you question why somebody did something in Hollywood where you're just like, "This doesn't fit in," just know they got paid an absurd amount of money to do it, and that's why they did it. Right, what's the line on Michael Caine with Jaws 4 where he's like, "That was probably the worst production I was ever in, but it did buy me my beach house."
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
It is one of those things that, like, I always assumed that, like, with Ang Lee, his career trajectory was that, like, this was one of his first movies, Crouching Tiger, his first, and then he ended up breaking into Hollywood of Hulk. But I didn't realize that he had like a whole career before this, where he made like Sense and Sensibility, which is like a Jane Austen novel. He did the Ice Storm, which is like a thriller with like a random actor, Kevin Kline and Toby Maguire, and then he
Did
did like this
the
Crouching
wedding
Tiger.
banquet the wedding banquet, like, he hasn't worked in he hasn't had a movie out since Gemini Man in 2019, but he did Brokeback Mountain, Taking Woodstock,
Gemini
Chosen.
Man. Was that Will Smith versus Will Smith, that movie?
Yeah, yeah, that was that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wow. Was that any good? Never saw
Could
it.
It
not
has a
tell you.
5.7 on IMDb, so
Yeah, I'm looking at that, so I guess it's okay for what it's
it's
worth.
definitely okay.
That's like
I
a coin toss.
It's just okay.
that's a coin toss on, like, it's bad objectively, but is it, like, the good kind of bad or the
Is like
bad
the
kind
fun
of
Yes.
kind.
bad? Because I
Yes.
think a 5.7 to me, like, we don't do it on we do it on a 5-point scale, not a 10-point scale, but, like, I would give a good bad movie, like, a higher rating, even though it's probably shot worse, just because it's funny and entertaining versus a movie that's shot well, but it's just boring as sin, and I don't wanna be watching this, like, I will give that a half a star, no problem. Like, a movie that just
Yeah,
bores
Absolutely.
my
yeah.
head off, I'm just like, half a star, move on.
The worst sin a movie can have is be boring, without a
Yes.
Yeah.
doubt.
Correct in
Yeah,
my note.
it is the biggest, and I think at points in this one, it feels a little boring at points. It's the it's because it
Well,
only
it's easy
like,
to
I
be
feel
bored when you have 15 to 20-minute talking sequences in a
what
language that
and
you
I
don't
don't
understand.
mind,
So you really gotta stick with it. But yes,
I don't
and I don't mind it either, but, like, there were the action
it was
sequences were too few
just
and far between, and I was kind of expecting a little more out of, like, the longevity of the action sequences when we were in them, and then it would be like, it'd be like 15 to 20-minute action sequence that was cool, followed by another, like, talking sequence that was just as long, if not longer, before the next one, you know?
it's one of the things that I have with, like, for me, like, anime doesn't do it for me, right? Like, and I know this is, different country, different culture, but this felt that way in that the dialogue and whatever the translation of the movie was felt very rigid. Like, the dialogue feels very explainy and very to the point, and it they all just kind of felt like robots. Like, I didn't feel like any of these characters really had personality to them, except for the
I know
the
I
the
know what
dark
you
cloud,
mean.
except for the dark cloud guy, but he was like completely different. But everybody else is it's very very stoic. It's there's just no there's no
There's no
humor in this.
there's no comedic relief character in
There's
this
no comedic
whatsoever.
relief. It's just very It's very a lot of times with Asian translations to the United States where it's spoken in the original foreign tongue, whatever nuance is lost in that language compared translating it to English, since English is so completely different structurally than other languages, it just comes off so straight and so hollow to the point that it doesn't connect with me.
Well, this was like a little bit different than like your typical movie like that, where it's like translated or anything like that. It's because this film was specifically targeted with Western audiences in mind, rather than like the domestic audience in China that knew these martial arts. I think it's called wuxia or something like that. And Ang Lee personally edited the subtitles and ensure they're like good for Western audiences. So
Oh,
there is that.
they're
And
not bad. It's just cultural differences that I think,
mm.
like, during the dialogue sequences that just made me a little disconnected. But we will cover all of this and more in the later in this episode. But let's cover movies we watched recently. Tommy, you were sitting there, you hopped onto this call and you were just like, I gotta take, boys. I gotta take. So it better be a good one because you were hyping this
Okay,
up. You were
It
all
hyping
right.
this up so much.
So, I finally decided to go out and watch, the new Catherine Bigelow movie, her first movie in I think 7 years, 8 years, A House of Dynamite. Now, Catherine Bigelow, she's the director of Point Break, which we covered. She did Near Dark, she did Strange Days, Zero Dark 30, and, her The Hurt Locker. She's an awesome director and everything like that. And this new movie, I think it's on Netflix, it's a Netflix original. I think this is like
Ugh.
the perfect movie to watch while doing laundry. And I mean that in a kind of a complimentary way, where this movie is just like weirdly for a actor, for a director who's so visually like kinetic and like great. It's a movie that's just like pure dialogue, and it almost feels like an audio drama. Where the whole entire point of House of Dynamite, the whole story is that one day, all of a sudden, a lone nuke missile comes heading towards the United States. And it follows the people in the control room, it follows the president, it follows pretty much people around the government as they try and figure out what they're gonna do, what are the decisions, how are we gonna respond to this, who to come from, where's it gonna hit. And that's the whole movie. And the whole movie is pretty much just boardroom after boardroom after boardroom. It kind of reminds me of some point of like, Strange Love and movies like that, where you have like the whole like nuclear missile crisis and it's like what's going
Little
on.
12 Angry Men, but different rooms.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a point in this movie I was watching this while doing laundry, but it just felt like perfect for that because you didn't really have to look at the screen that much. Where like mostly what was happening on the screen is kind of like Jason Clark all of a sudden is talking, and then all of a sudden Idris Elba's right there, and holy shit, and like they're talking back and forth. But it's not anything like directing wise where I was like, okay, like I could have easily gotten enough out of this if it was audio drama. And it's a weird thing in the movie that the whole missile has like a 20 minutes until it hits somewhere into the US. And instead of like just showing the aftermath of what happens with the missile, it instead every like 30 minutes or so cuts to a new perspective of the same 20 minutes. So you go from like first the control room, then you go to like Jared Harris, who's like the Secretary of Defense, and then you go to Idris Elba and you get his perspective of the 20 minutes and how they go down. So it's a weird thing where it cuts back and forth. And I feel like if you watch this all in like one fell swoop, it'd be annoying. Like, what the fuck? You're going back to the same 20 minutes again? But instead, when I was watching it kind of like in parts, I was like, okay, this rocks. And I feel like it would have been good as like a Netflix miniseries, which is weird to say as a movie,
How
but like
long
you
was
get
this movie?
this movie was like 2 hours.
Oh,
So
you're
Okay.
making it
two
sound like it's like a 3.5 hour behemoth.
no, not at all, not at all. But some people are complaining about it, about how like, oh, like why'd you keep on going back to the back? And I think it is that you do get something different out on these perspectives. And Idris Elba's good as the president. I mean, he's always reliable. But in a way, though, the whole entire time I'm watching this movie, I'm thinking, I want Catherine Bigelow to go back to like her more genre brain mind. If she has a couple more movies out of her, like let's go see her do another Point Break. Let's go see her do another Strange Days. These are awesome action movies, awesome sci-fi movies. Just have some of the most kinetic action I've seen and stuff. And it's just like I don't need to see you be in like a realistic docudrama mode overall over and over again.
So, would you
But
recommend the movie?
did you like this movie?
Still though, that being said, I did like the movie, but it still feels like I want more out of Catherine Bigelow these days. It feels like it was just like a first base hit, and I want the home run out of her.
First, you mean a single?
Yeah,
Okay, so she
so
hit a
my
single.
baseball
You
metaphor.
were hoping for at least a double.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Tommy's baseball vernacular is well
Yeah.
behind the
We're
status
working
quo.
on it.
It's subpar to say the least.
Upstairs,
Much like
Steve. What have you watched
his
recently?
well, if I can if I could kindly stroke Tommy's ego a little more, I think he'll be very happy for me to bring up the fact that since I was last on this podcast, I did a run through of every single Screen movie for the first time.
Hell yeah.
And I'm very happy I did. They're very funny. And I don't know, I grew up in a household where my parents wouldn't let me watch it because my mom is and still is addicted to News 12 and it's like now it's too violent, you can't watch this. And like I always grew up thinking that there are these super violent, like gory horror movies. And as soon as I watched the first one, I'm like, this is fucking hysterical. This is genius.
Yeah, yeah. They're great horror comedies. We covered the first
Yeah.
one as like our third or fourth episode when we first started
Proceeded
this
to watch the
podcast.
rest of them. None of them
Yeah.
disappointed.
Like,
It's the same movie. You know, I could watch the same movie 6 times. I don't know. I'm
It does become a
I'm
point
very
with that series where like
yeah,
you have the same characters coming up over and over again, where it almost just feels like a TV series where it's like, oh, who's the villain of the week this time? Like, oh, it's this guy, it's this guy. Oh, it's the
pretty
mom on this
much.
character.
Although contrary to popular belief, I guess there was a Scream series, right? And you said it was shit.
Oh, yeah, on MTV. It was like awful. Like it's just like TV MTV acting where it's just like terrible actors who like
is it
have
like
like
the
no
CW? It's
charisma.
like the CW acting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that where it's like, oh god, I watched like the first season and it was just like also it just like did not compel for a whole season where it's just like you could probably make like a murder mystery like a compelling season, but that one was just like every episode was just like this would have been okay as like a 90-minute movie, but instead you have like characters talking for like 30 minutes being like, so who do you think the killer is? Who do you think the killer is? Oh my god, it could be this person, could be this person. It's like, let's fucking move on. Like let's get some more juice in this.
Yeah, no, it's definitely better as keep it to what it is, which is a tacky horror movie that's funny as well.
So,
But and like
what are the predictions for Scream 7? Because I've seen the trailer for it. Here, Tommy is our resident Scream expert.
So I think Scream 7, first of all, there's a lot of controversy behind it because we're
Because
so
there's Palestine, Israel, yeah, whatever.
yeah, the
We
whole
don't
thing.
cover we don't cover geopolitics on this podcast. Okay?
We're not that type of podcast,
wait,
but
Scream borders into geopolitics. What the fuck?
With the actors and stuff. Just
whole thing.
Oh, so what's her name's not going to be in it because she has an opinion about certain things?
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Great. Oh,
So
that sucks.
it does. It definitely does.
What are you gonna
But
do?
so they're bringing back Nev Campbell though for Scream 7, and it seems like they're like leaning more into like the AI, like fake voice changers kind of thing. Right. Apparently Matthew Lillard's coming back, even though his character's dead. Other characters are coming back even though their characters were dead. And it's just like, okay, like how are we gonna do this? Is it gonna be like we're gonna have like another flashback scene to like, oh, like they did in 5 and 6 with what's his name, Skeet Ulrich, or is it gonna be like,
Yeah,
oh, like we're using Dewey's voice to pretend that we're Dewey now. I'm just gonna fuck a few Sydney. Man.
that'd be funny. Um, yeah, and I did like kind of the use of like the old characters, like when I believe it was Scream 6 when she was looking through the glass and saw like an older version of her dad who was the villain in Scream 1.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was like a cool little twist, so I can see them kind of like doing something like that. But
Yeah.
for what it's worth, I'll be watching it in theaters. Tommy, maybe we'll get a little play
Yeah.
date going. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. It's coming out around my birthday, just like Scream 6 did. I remember Scream 6, I had like 15 friends come over to go see it
I
in
understand the
theaters.
February launch date with these movies, man. It seems like a perfect thing to do for Halloween. They're just kind of
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a time and place, but it's a crazy thing where, like, we didn't have, like, maybe 1 or 2, like, we had 1 or 2 horror movies in October this year, and, like, one of them was Black Phone 2. I couldn't tell you what the other one was, if any. But Steve, what was your final Scream ranking?
I don't know. They're good. I don't want to give it a 4 out of 5. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5.
No, I meant more so, like, where do you rank, like, the sequels and everything like that?
Oh fuck! I don't know. Poor Timmy's already gotten up to fucking get a water.
Timmy's just like, I don't need to hear this. His headphones are off. He's grabbing water.
He's so not invested in this. He's taking his headphones off for the first time. Oh man, I think I would have to go. I think it would go 6, 4, 5 because I didn't really like 5 at first, but I liked
So
the
wait,
story arc.
6 is the worst, or
No, 6 is the best. I really like
6 is
6.
the best.
Yeah.
6, 4, 5. Wow.
Yeah, because I didn't really like when they introduced the new characters in 5, but
Mm.
I kinda liked their story arc in 6, what they ended up doing with them, and 4 was
Yeah.
really just a direct sequel to fucking 3, so I thought
Mhm.
that was fun for what it's worth.
Yeah. It is cool that Wes Craven directed the majority of those. So,
Correct. Hey,
um,
Timmy's back. You ready? You ready to hit that play button there, Timmy?
No, because I didn't talk about my movie yet, Steve.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Watch out. We got a podcast host here that wants to talk about his movie.
Yeah, you do.
Howard.
I watched Zodiac for the
Yo,
second
I'm
time.
actually in the middle of watching that. As a matter of fact, I've never seen it before, and I was starting
good.
to fall asleep. You like it? I'm
Oh,
gonna finish it tonight.
It's fantastic. I think it's Fincher's most polished movie. It's either that or The Social Network, I feel like, but it takes this really complicated puzzle and adds so much character and life to it and kind of does like the All the President's Men spotlight kind of thing with it, where it just
Oh, I love that.
focuses it from the journalist's perspective. Really fascinating case. And I feel like, especially in a world where people are addicted to murder mystery podcasts and all this stuff, it's a movie that I feel like doesn't get the love and recognition that it deserves from like a widespread audience, especially when I think Crime Junkie is the number 2 most listened to podcast in the world. Like, you're telling me people would not be interested in a really well acted, really well shot, really interesting dive into the Zodiac murders from the perspective of people who
Oh,
tracked the case.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not a popular movie. I'm saying it should be regarded as one of the like unanimous best films of the 21st century, and I don't think it quite has that reputation to it. I think that's how highly I think of it.
maybe it's because, like, I'm in more in film bro circles and film Twitter and
Yes,
all
I'm
that
talking
bullshit.
about it from
But
if you talk to your coworkers tomorrow and be like, "Hey, have you ever seen Zodiac?" It's gonna be like 1 of 5, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them be like, well, I also have coworkers that like don't watch movies, and they're like, I don't remember the last time I watched a movie. It's like, what?
They watch
Where am I working?
TikToks, bro.
Fucking
Yeah. Exactly.
I watch my
But
movies on TikTok with Peter Griffin underneath it or whatever they do on TikTok. I don't know. I'm not on TikTok.
I do love those memes though. Where it's
I'm
like,
not
oh, this
either.
movie's so boring. Family Guy. We are on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but our podcast is.
All right, yeah. So let's drop the TikTok hate there.
Yeah.
I'm not
So,
hating.
but I think it is for sometimes a general audiences. You tell them it's a 3-hour movie, and they're like, That's like that does not feel its length whatsoever. So
No, it flies by.
Yeah.
And
then
nor does this movie here actually that we're about to talk about.
This movie is 2 hours long. This is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Tiger, Hidden Dragon is everything we go to the movies for. Exhilarating, visually stunning, spectacular, romantic, fantastic, visionary, filmmaking magic, the best movie of the year. Chow Yun-fat, Michelle Yeoh, and Zhang Ziyi. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, rated PG-13.
Okay, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is a 2000 epic romantic drama wuxia martial arts film directed by Ang Lee, written for the screen by Wang Hu Ling, James Shamus, and Tsai Ku Jung. The film stars Chow Yun Fat, Michelle Yao, Zhang Zia, and Shang Chen. It's based on a Chinese novel of the same name, serialized between 1941 and 1942. Set in 19th century Imperial China, the plot follows two master warriors, Li Mubai and Yushu Lin, who are faced with their greatest challenge when the treasured Green Destiny Sword is stolen by the mysterious thief Zhen Yu. So, as we mentioned before, this is the biggest international film to ever release here. And there's different factors for that. It was Sony Classic Pictures took a hand, and Columbia took a hand in the development of this project. They were involved. They weren't just importing it over um, correctly here. What do you think about this film made it connect with a widespread American audience?
I think it's a combination of like the cinematography was just so fantastic, and the fact that you had like this amazing like action that like really seemed like a step up than like what people are probably used to at the time from back then. Because like, obviously we have martial arts films, and this is not the first martial arts film, and nor is it still the first like wuxia film. This is the first one that really just like had international like crossover. Michelle Yao, like she was still kind of a little bit of a star in America. I mean, she was like a Bond girl, like what, like 3 years before this or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, well, she Tomorrow Never Knows.
Tomorrow Never Dies. Yeah,
Tomorrow Never Dies. Yeah, that's it.
yeah. So I mean, like you have that, you have an actor that people know of, and like you have this whole thing, and then I feel people are just primed for it because you know you people are getting built up from like the Jet, maybe not Jet Li as much, but like the Jackie Chan movies and like obviously Bruce Lee back in the day, and then you get
You
to
have
this, and
Rush
at this
Hour
point,
a couple of years before
yeah,
this.
and Rush Hour definitely helps with that.
I think The Matrix is also one that would help here with that, like
Oh yeah,
martial arts, that wire at uh martial arts style that was put into that film. And the Matrix was gigantic, it was everywhere.
Yeah,
And had a really big lasting impact here. And I feel like
that was '99, right?
that was 99, so audiences were still craving that kind of martial arts, and there wasn't a ton of other martial arts films coming out, so this just kind of comes in and kind of like nestles into that hole there at the end of the holiday season, and then it gets really good reviews on top of it, and people go, "That's worth my 10.50. I'll go." Right?
Yeah,
Like, I
they
feel
got to.
like
I
that's a
think
part of
that's
it.
what it is. Like, like I think there was enough mystery behind it, but enough familiarity where people were like, I got to see what it's all about. It got a
yeah.
lot of good reviews from people that watched it. And then as it got more critically acclaimed, you had people that maybe wouldn't have gone to see it if it weren't as critically acclaimed, going to be like, "Oh, let me see what this is all about," and
Yeah.
they ended up liking it, and it did have something for everyone. It had something for your martial arts fans. It had something for your romance fans, like, it had something for your just, blatant action fans. So
Well, I mean, yeah, there's always like a post Oscar bump too when like a movie wins Best Picture or a movie wins whatever. We're like, oh, I gotta
true.
check this out now and gotta see this right now. And this movie like cleaned up at the Oscars and won 4 Oscars, one of which
Nominated for
was
10,
Nominated for
nominated for
10.
which
Jesus.
was the most nominations ever for a non-English film at the time.
and
The
then Roma
record
tied it,
and
and
Amelia
then
Perez broke it,
ugh,
unfortunately.
gross.
Terrible movie that we don't need to talk about ever again.
I
But
kind of
this movie,
forgot that existed until I was doing my research for this.
yeah, and it's just like shit on a shit sandwich. That movie, Amelia Perez. But anyways, this movie like won best art direction, best foreign language film, best original score, and best cinematography. I think all those are well deserved at the time because like
Yeah.
the cinematography, like I was talking earlier, just so sweeping, and so like oh my god, like holy shit. The fact they take advantage of like the landscapes they have in such a beautiful way is just amazing.
Well, it
Really,
shows
just
how
like
diverse the tapestry of China actually is too. Like, you get to see the forests, you get to see the deserts, you get to see like an old imperial city set built up there. You get to see the mountains as well. Like, there's a lot to China that, especially for Americans and especially at that time, like, we're unfamiliar with that tapestry. We're
well,
unfamiliar
yeah. I
with that
mean,
country, what it looked like on a widespread basis.
Exactly, like, you see some of those shots and, like, I don't know, I feel like a random American audience member would be like, "Oh, that looks like it was filmed in, like, Utah or something like that," especially,
That would be
like, the
me.
desert.
I thought the desert scene was definitely filmed at the Grand Canyon. There was no question about it.
Yeah, 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 something like that. So this movie beat Gladiator for best cinematography. I still think it's well deserved, even though Gladiator is a well shot film.
I
So,
just rewatched that movie too. What a great movie.
yeah,
I can't
fantastic.
believe it. Wow, I can't believe it beat that. That's nuts.
No, that's not that nuts.
Yeah,
I
no, but yeah, listen, 2000 was a year for fucking a lot of good movies, man. But still, that's pretty cool. And this was definitely a good movie. It was a good visual movie, like, and like going back to the whole like, special effects scenes where like you would think that like a lot of this like, wire art like for special effects would be something out of like, anime or anything like that. They really did a good job of like, keeping you enveloped in it and like translating it into a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a live action sort of, cinematography sort of space, right?
Mm. Well,
You know?
especially like when the way they like hide the wires and the way it just looks so elegant going from like place to place. I mean, this movie is very well choreographed. I mean,
Mhm.
I need to look up who did the choreography for this, but like the fight choreography in itself is just
Yeah,
so
no,
kinetic,
not to mention
so
like the
cool.
sword play and all that shit. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Like there's some scenes with like Chow Yun Fat, where especially in the end, where like all those darts are shooting out, and all of a sudden he's using his sword and just going like a million different directions at once, and it looks so cool. You're like, okay, yeah, this is awesome.
or like the scene where they're just catching darts, their fingers and shit like that.
Yeah,
Like
or when Chow Yun Fat and Zhang Zi are in the like bamboo and they're like jumping from like bamboo to bamboo and like all the different shit like that. It just looks so cool and so like amazing where you have them up top and stuff like that, and the like a backdrop of like the bamboo forest is so like breathtaking in a way. And I think one of the best shots in the movie is the end of the movie where like she is at the top of the mountain. We're jumping around a lot when Jen's at the top of that mountain and she's talking to Lao, and you just see like the mountain they're on top of and like the it's a real location first of all, which again nowadays this would probably be green screen or some shit or just like shot out of way too much brightness, like not enough contrast or something like that. But the way it's like shrouded in the fog and everything, that is breathtaking. It blows you away. You're like, "Oh my god."
I feel like the whole movie was shot with like sort of like a almost sepia sort of filter to keep it like looking sort of like traditional and old school,
Mm,
just at least with the lens,
well,
like, So I noticed there wasn't, as like much as this was an action movie and as violent as it was, there really weren't that many scenes where you saw a lot of blood. But the one scenes that you did see like some blood, the blood was like super dark. Like it didn't seem graphic at all. You know what I mean?
well,
It used violence and action as more of an art form than it was about it being
oh
violence, you
yeah,
know?
it was super high choreograph. I mean, and blood is really particular with the MPAA. Like, so for Taxi Driver, and Scorsese didn't want to touch a frame of the movie. It originally came back with an NC-17 X rating, whatever you want to call it.
I heard
Um,
about this story. Yeah, this is a good
yeah,
one.
and Scorsese was distraught. There's rumors that he wanted to go kill the studio head, like he was losing his mind, and then it came to him in one of the scenes that's super bloody. He just changed the color of the blood, and it passed the rating system. So he,
it is, yeah.
like, they're very sensitive towards blood, and I understand wanting to make this a PG-13 movie because it just doubles the chance of a box office success versus an R rating. Like when you're R rating, you're cutting out such a large portion of the viewing audience to come in.
Mm.
So,
Well, it's the wild thing about the MPAA where, like, Predator Badlands, for example, for a more recent example, that movie's PG-13, but it's still as violent as other Predator movies, but the difference is all the blood is just alien blood, so it's green or blue or whatever, and, like, that's okay, but if it was red blood, then it'd be like R-rated immediately. You can't do
well,
that.
South Park, when the South Park movie came out, they would write alternate jokes that were much worse than the ones they wanted to get into the movie, so that way they could send it to the MPAA board. They'll be like, "No, no, no, it needs you can't say that, you can't say that," and then they'll put the joke that they wanted to put in. They'll go, "Okay, you can do that one," because it's by this example. And there's a documentary on the whole MPAA system. I'm blanking on the name of it, but
It's so shitty. It's so funny when you like
It's
when you like.
it's such a shady organization, like, there's
Oh
no
yeah,
real actual system for it, and if your movie is a studio movie, you will get back a list of notes of what needs to be changed, and if you're an independent film going for rating, they go, this isn't working.
yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta fix
Well,
it."
it's so funny when you look at like the Wikipedia page for like almost any 80s slasher. There's a section where like, yeah, on Friday the 13th Part 7, they had to trim this one kill by 5 seconds because it was too violent and they were going to give it an NC-17 or something like that. So over and over again, just fuck the MPAA. I mean, I understand that there's a reason for ratings, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, like you show gore on screen. Who gives a fuck?
I think it's also, like, when you're a kid, it's such like a like you're a kid and then it's like, "Oh, you're getting shown in your first PG-13 movie."
Do you remember like the like graphic that they had, the poster they had in movie
Yeah.
theaters for the thing where it
It
was
was
like
like
a
weird
cartoon drawing?
it was drawn like a
And
Kathy cartoon.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's drawing like a Kathy cartoon. And then you had like the G rating where everyone's there. And then like PG, like some people
PG,
are there. PG-13 is mostly teenagers, R ratings,
teenagers,
like adults only, and
adults.
then NC-17 are like no
It's
kids
somebody covering
whatsoever.
it's like an adult covering a
Yeah.
kid's eyes, like, it's like
That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right.
and it's also crazy to me that our rating is 17 up, but there's no like, some theaters have people checking IDs for it, and some theaters don't care, but, like, a parent could take them in, but then
Yeah.
NC-17
It's just you
is
have to be 17 or
Well,
first
yeah,
of
I
all, they
definitely have
really don't make movies like that anymore, do they?
I mean,
NC-17 happens, but it's like less and less because it's also like a commercial death knell. I mean, we covered Showgirls, and Showgirls is probably the most famous NC-17 movie. And even that, like, I don't think even grossed like amazingly, but they
no,
literally like
it did terrible. It was a
most
bomb.
theaters like don't want to show NC-17 movies. And
Bad
I guess
Lieutenant was NC-17, the original
did
one. I'm
well
looking this up right now.
didn't they show Harvey Keitel's like fucking dick
Yeah,
in that?
yeah.
Okay, but like,
So that's an
I,
instant.
I wasn't that impressed. I mean, come on, guys. Like that was a really good movie, man.
Harvey Keitel's gonna kick your ass over that one.
Listen, Harvey, great movie. I think your dick deserved an NC-17
Well,
rating.
I'm looking
sorry,
right now
buddy.
the Wikipedia page for NC-17 movies, and there's
I'm
probably
looking
like
too. Evil,
less than
the
100.
Evil Dead was.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
didn't
can
know
see that. Last Tango in Paris. I mean, but again, yeah, that's a
They
thing.
mostly have to do with sexuality versus violence.
Well, yeah,
So
there's like a movie, but I'm a cheerleader, which I watched recently, which is like a very like fun like movie about like people that were like homosexual in a conversion camp, and it was like a wacky comedy. But then they made it NC-17 because the romance scenes between two girls were too graphic. But if it was like a straight one, it would be like totally fine type of thing.
yeah.
Where it's like okay, round piece. But
And it
anyways,
obviously changes with the times. I feel like there's movies that come out today that get an R rating that would absolutely have not gotten an R rating. I'm not even thinking of anything specific, but just like our standards have changed so much.
Well,
And
yeah.
there's so
Well, I mean, back
well, it's
then,
like
like
have
there was
you ever
no
been in a
PG-13 rating, right?
yeah, PG-13 only happened in, like, the
then
mid-80s, because of
yeah.
Gremlins and Temple of Doom. Those are the 2 ones that made it. But have you ever, like, before you're 17, sneak into a R-rated movie and watch other people get kicked out and, like, you're like, "Oh god. Oh shit." Like, what's
I've
gonna
never
happen?
seen anyone kicked out of an
No,
R
I
rating.
remember
Me
this in
neither,
the
actually.
AMC in Portchester. I remember went to go sneak in to go see the Nightmare on Elm Street remake with Jackie Earle Haley, and I watched as 2, like, kids, like, maybe, like, 4 rows, in front of me got kicked out, and I just was, like, 15 at the time. I just, like, sunk in my chair. I was like,
An adult go and get like an employee and be like, these kids shouldn't be in here? Like, what
I
happened?
Yeah, how do you
I
snitch on
imagine
somebody
maybe.
for that? Yeah,
I mean,
that
maybe looking back, it would've been better for me if I got kicked out of that movie because that movie sucked
that
balls,
might be
but
the queen of all Karens.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have
Holy
got but
shit!
yeah, but you wouldn't have gotten a refund, and then you would have been like,
yeah.
well, maybe it gets better in the second half, and you would have felt like you needed
Well
to watch it again.
Well, we're going on a total tangent on a tangent, but there's a whole like thing I remember like where like you would buy a movie to another movie to sneak into, and one time we tried to want to go see Zach and Miri Make a Porno, the Seth Rogen movie, and we bought tickets to it, and we bought tickets to Beverly Hills Chihuahua, and we're gonna go sneak in to go to Zach and Miri. Then when we bought tickets, we realized that Hills Chihuahua was playing in the opposite side of the theater than Zack and Miri, so we couldn't sneak in. So we ended up watching fucking Beverly Hills Chihuahua, and it was awful. I was so pissed off.
Why would you do that?
I was like 14. I was 14, just like,
that's on you for not doing your homework, man. You
Yeah,
gotta go
really.
you gotta go take a look on the sides of the theater and get a sense of what's playing next door.
I agree. You deserve that. Kevin Smith would not be happy with you. He's very disappointed.
Yeah.
Can't
37.
That explains so much about you, Tommy. I don't even know why it does. It just does.
The funny thing is,
it's
I
very
collect all
much
my
a Tommy story.
I collect all my ticket stubs. I still have that ticket stub from Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I look at that sometimes. I'm like,
once again, not surprised.
Did you want to rip it up?
yeah, exactly. One day, just burn it. But after 14 years later, 20 years later,
I forgot Beverly Hills Chihuahua happened until you just mentioned it.
Yeah, it was like a Jamie Lee Curtis movie or something.
Core memory unlocked.
I don't know why. Again, I was 14. I don't know why I watched the whole movie. I could have snuck up. I think my friends were like, "No, we're gonna watch it."
Jesus
we paid for the ticket. We're gonna go.
yeah.
Starring George Lopez, Drew Barrymore, and Jamie Lee Curtis.
She was in that?
Yeah, I think Cheech Martin was in it as well.
I think Cheech Martin. If there's a talking dog movie, Cheech Martin is like obligated to be in it.
Probably, yeah.
It's his contract.
It's stoner movies and talking dog movies.
Talking dog movies, exactly. So,
okay, so
plowing ahead here. Back to the movie.
Back to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yes.
Which action sequence for you, upstairs, Steve, do you think stood out the most to you?
I think the one at the end for sure. I was gonna say the very beginning scene when what's her name was a ninja, and you didn't know that she was her yet, because that was the first sequence that you saw her fly, and then she did her little paper pinwheel thing with what's her name, Jade Sun or whatever.
The Jade Knight, what was her name?
Yeah, I think that was Jade Fox.
Jade Fox.
When she escaped with her little pinwheel thing, I'm like, oh, they can fly. Like, okay, nobody really explained this at all. Yeah, then you start seeing these fighting sequences where, they just start flying all the time. And you're like, oh, maybe that's just part of their fighting style or whatever. Definitely the one where, you're towards the climax and it's the last 30 minutes in. And, it's Chung Young Fat and they're in the bamboo forest and he's literally balancing on the last branch of a bamboo tree and she's trying to shake him off, but it goes back to that very beginning thing where it's like, if you need to master the art of being still before you can master the sword that you're wielding, let me teach you. And still doesn't let it happen, and her arrogance gets the best of her, and that's how it ends up drawing itself to a close. And I think that's what made it be the best fighting sequence in the whole movie.
It is cool in that sequence how Michelle Yeoh's character keeps on trying to grab different weapons, and each weapon keeps on getting consistently broken over and over and over again.
That was cool. I did like that too, because that was the fight immediately beforehand. So.
Yeah, well, the end just kind of turns into an action blitz. What I really liked about that one was you kept hearing about this sword's power, the green sword that got stolen, returned, and then stolen again. We keep getting told consistently how strong it is, and we see it against lesser opponents, right? Yeah. But when Jen is actually wielding it in that fight, it keeps destroying Michelle Yeoh's weapons, just completely eviscerating.
No matter the size or anything like that. And that's the thing, is that you can see that Michelle Yeoh is definitely besting her in every fight, But if it weren't for the fact that she were wielding this sword that was breaking her weapons, that's the only reason why that she's beating her, because it's really this sword, but she doesn't have that discipline. That
it's a great example of show and
looking for. Yeah.
And of show instead of telling, where it just shows you immediately this is why this sword has been so important throughout this movie, where they've been going after this, and it's just literally it's the ultimate weapon right there.
It is, but she had no training. She was out for power, and she doesn't really have like any like discipline behind her, and that ends up ultimately leading to her downfall.
Yeah, it was her ego that kinda got the best of her. I mean, I I really enjoyed that first action sequence. The action sequence in the courtyard with the police cop was awesome and had, like, the only actual kill in the movie, for lack of a better term, where he just gets the
Yeah,
circular blade directly in the dome.
that was pretty
Oh yeah,
badass.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was insane.
I like how he was there to track down the Jade Fox, and then there was, like, the bodyguard and the daughter, and there was one more scene with them, and then they're just completely out of the movie, and then he just shows up again towards the end of the movie.
Yeah,
Like, they
amazing.
just completely written out of the movie, and then he just shows up at the monk's temple
Yeah, I don't know. It was
Out
very
of
cool.
nowhere. That is
out of
funny.
nowhere.
I think my favorite was towards like towards the middle point of the movie. Let me a little past when Jen Yu is in like the cafe or something like that by herself, dressed up,
Mm,
and these guys
That
challenge
was
her
a
to a
cool
fight.
one, and she just
And
destroys the entire
well,
building.
first of all, it just shows immediately like how like great she is at fighter because this movie, I mean, Ang Lee really wanted to make the choreography like match the characters' personalities and learn a little bit of them. Where like she's immediately just like sick of these guys' shit. Like she doesn't even look from her while she's like sipping her cup of coffee while she's just like doing all this like stuff with her hands and like kicking the shit out of this guy.
Yeah,
And I think one of the coolest shots was fight wise was her
down the
in that
stairs.
down the stairs and she jumps up the stairs and spins and her like whole outfit spins with her and it makes this like weird cool yellow tornado thing and goes up in the air. I thought it was just so like mind blowing.
it's badass. Can I pose a
Yeah, yeah,
question to the general audience here, or not
yeah,
general audience, you too?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
why doesn't Jen want to learn the ways of the Green Destiny?
Because her
What's her
teacher, the Jade Fox, was not taught by this school of monks, and the master, she said the line, she's like, "Your master is good enough to I'm good enough to sleep with your master, but not good enough to be taught," which I guess is a reason to just become super evil.
Yeah, no, but like what you would think with
Well,
a character like that with as large of motivations as she has, why would she use that motivation to make herself stronger or more
I think it was
disciplined?
character though. She's a very headstrong character, and she thinks she's at a point where she's good enough that she doesn't need any more guidance.
well, she also like kind of wants to break her own path and everything like that. And I think that a big part of the movie for that character is that she's supposed to be in this arranged marriage and she's supposed to pretty much just like live the life that her family wants her to. And she is trying to forge her own path instead. And she wants
She's
to be,
trying to find freedom,
yeah,
and
freedom in her own self. And she's trying to find that within Lo and, Michelle Yeoh's trying to bring her back and be like, hey, maybe you should like be more in the traditional ways that we all are, but she's like almost kind of like a Mulan figure where Jen's just like, I'm not about that. I'm like an independent woman,
because
essentially. Like I
she's
need
an
to,
aristocrat's daughter. She's the
yeah.
Governor Yu, who we never see, by the way, is her father, and is, it's a traditional
I do
19th
like that we don't see her
century.
family.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, it helps you
Although,
empathize with her for sure.
yeah,
Mm.
which is it's interesting that she's like the focal point of the plot, and she's the focal point of like a character sympathy, but she's an inherently selfish character,
Is she
Hmm.
an
and
antagonist, would you say, or would you call her
I
an
would I would
anti-hero?
she's
More anti-hero,
more
I'd
era,
say.
and I I don't know, she has her, like, little redemption at the end, but I think I would call her an antagonist. Like, I don't think I would call her an anti-hero.
I mean, like, yeah, she'd be the same way that Darth Vader is the anti-hero, right? Because, like,
Yeah,
she's an
like,
antagonist throughout until that final moment, like, at the very
because
end of Return of the Jedi, right?
because
Like
even for, Chow Yun-fat, Michelle Yeoh's characters, they weren't even like, Michelle Yeoh was a little bit more of like, "Hey, freedom isn't always attained," because like, she was, uh, betrothed to Chow Yun-fat's brother, and then he died in a battle, and they formed this bond that was turning into romance, but they couldn't act on it
Mm.
because of the disrespect it would be towards a brother. So she's like, I too have not tasted that freedom, right? Like that's her whole explanation of it. But Jen's character is just like I understand not wanting to be sent off to an arranged marriage.
Oh yeah, I mean, I understand that with any character, like
But
but
I but she's doing it in such like a violent way and uh I'm not sure I would you guys call her an anti-hero? Would you call like what do you guys think?
I don't think she's a full on villain because like towards the end she realizes like kind of the errors of her ways, the path she's been going on, and tries to like help them take out Jade Fox right there. And I think that more so that she's just like I was saying earlier, like she's just trying to be forge her own path, be independent, and maybe she doesn't go about the right ways all the time, but she slowly starts realizing the errors of her ways and starts helping more I guess, quote unquote, the good guys. So that's Chow Yun Fat and Michelle Yao. And it's right there to the end. She tries to like save Chow Yun Fat through your life. Where I think that a big emotional crux of this movie is the relationship between Michelle Yao and Chow Yun Fat. And I think it's there. But like you said, Tim, I think that the stoic nature of this movie doesn't make it really sing the way I kind of wish it did. That romance.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, so I think there's one romance that kind of works.
Mhm.
It works. And then I would say that Chow Yun Fat and Michelle Yao one is really rigid and
Yeah.
stoic. And I get that they're like they explain the background of it, but it just for me it just like there's no passion behind it.
Mhm.
It's just it's very formal, it's very rigid, but this movie at like the 1 hour mark goes on a 20-minute tangent to a flashback for
yeah,
Jen's character with Dark Cloud, who's this I don't want to say Mongolian, but I don't know what else he could possibly be based off of, but just like a nomadic tribesman who steals
right,
her comb. She chases him down because she's still a fighter, which is crazy that she's like, "Oh, I'm hiding my fighting thing." Meanwhile, she like gets her comb stolen, hops on a horseback with shooting a bow in front of everybody. Like, okay, this girl clearly knows how to use weapons of some kind, but whatever. Um, and then she passes out in the cave and tries to escape, but they fall in love, and he wants to earn his her family's respect so that way they could be married. Like that stuff for me worked. That explained a lot more about where her taste for freedom and independence comes from
right.
because she did live free for a period of time. Like it's not a question of like, oh, I wonder what it's like. It's a question of like, I know what it's like, and I enjoyed having the choices.
But again, it
Mm,
made you empathize with her, but it still recognized her as the villain. And that's where it kind of made you kind of conflicted as the viewer because you kind of understand both the protagonist and the antagonist sides.
yeah.
And like you understand what each person is fighting for, but you also want what's right for both of them, if that ends up making sense,
Well,
towards the
you
end. And you're left with conflicts that don't really lead to that throughout the rest of the movie.
yeah. So for you guys, like I kind of touched upon the Chow Yun Fat Michelle Yao romance. Like, did that got work for you guys at all?
I think that like I didn't really even notice that there's much of a romance going on until literally the end where they said they love each other. So it did not work, I'd say. I feel like the more so the Jen and Lao romance worked a lot more, and I feel like me it's more seeing more scenes of passion of them, more emotion from them. I mean, the Jen character especially is one that's just like, not trying to conform to society's standards of what she's doing. So I think that also helps within her romance that you see so much more passion, so much more life out of it than you do with Michelle Yeoh, who's trying to be a more of a traditionalist woman in that society.
Yeah, I was the same way. I really didn't even sense that at all. I mean, I
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
sensed that there was, like, something there, but
Mm.
if they were already together,
Well, they
they
explained
really
it a lot. They
yeah,
explained it a lot, but it wasn't ever really shown until that last scene when Chow Yun Fat like gets poisoned by the one dart that he wasn't able to deflect, which was that was crazy, by the way. That was bullet
that was
time.
that
That
was
was
pretty
bullet
sick.
time, but with poison darts
Yeah.
out of the back of a sword, which was sick. That's just sick. I don't know how else to describe
It
it.
was badass. Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of this. That's kind of those movies. I think real appeal and like lasting appeal is like I don't know what's going on. Like, I mean, you do know what's going on, but I don't know what's going on. But all I know is this is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
it's just anytime they stop talking and they start fighting, you're like, let's go. I'm locked in. I'm locked in.
Yeah.
But I do think, and we've kind of hammered this point, and maybe for me, I think it's even if it's a good translation, I just think the way that those languages work and the way that they're connotated, just it doesn't at least for me, it just doesn't get the nuances of English right, and it ends up being very literal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
obviously, it would be conveyed with a lot more passion if you understood
Yeah.
Mandarin. But
well,
the literal translation in English is just like, oh well, it takes the passion completely out of whatever he just said, but we're never going to know that.
And like I'm not sitting here saying I'm an expert in Mandarin. I'm an expert on 0 foreign languages, but there's a lot of different nuances in the way that things are just even pronounced.
Well, what's interesting, I guess this is a place to bring this up right now, that apparently for native Chinese speakers, there was issues with this movie, with the accents of the four lead actors. So for us, obviously, none of us know Mandarin, none of us know the Chinese language or anything like that. So we don't really know the different accent or different types. But apparently, like Chow Yun Fat is from Hong Kong. He speaks Cantonese natively. Michelle Yeoh is from Malaysia. And so she learned her standard Chinese lines phonetically, and Cheng Cheng is from Taiwan. He speaks standard Chinese in a Taiwanese accent. And Zheng Zi spoke a native Mandarin accent that Ang Lee wanted. So, for if you're like a native speaker, that probably was frustrating. It'd probably be like in a movie hearing someone for us like with 10 different types of accents, and they're all supposed to be in the same exact
It'd be
place.
like this guy's a southern plantation owner and he speaks with a New York accent.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. That's a little different right there. So it is kind of crazy to think like how it is for us. Obviously, that goes right over our heads. But for Chow Yun Fat, he said on the first day of shooting, he had to do 28 takes just because of the language. He said like that never happened before to me in my life. Chow Yun Fat was a
Oh,
guy who's been in so many John Woo movies before this and stuff like that. So it
Huh.
is interesting to see like how it just like changes within that right there. The different like nuances of the language that like even we don't even really know as well.
interesting. Would
Yeah.
have thunk. Not me.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
All right, boys, time to judge your foreign film performances here. Who's the star of the show? Who gave the best performance? I'm kicking it off to Tommy here.
I think Jen is the bleeding heart and soul of this movie. I think that like she gives a very nuanced performance where even if her character, you're not sure where allegiances stand and stuff like that, but like you can tell like the almost ache of in her that she doesn't want to be trapped into this traditionalist Chinese society that she is currently in. So I think that she's really good. Chow Yun Fat's really good as like the stoic like warrior. I do want to pose a question to us. Uh, so there's a person that was originally like wanted for the role, and it's a really famous guy.
Jackie Chan.
No, but it was Jet Li. Jet Li was originally
That was actually going
chosen.
to be my second guess.
Yeah, I mean that would be the second choice. Ang Lee was original choice was a Jet Li, and he wanted to play it. And Lee declined because he wanted to take care of his family because his wife was about to have a kid. So he's like, I want to take a year off from acting and just like make sure like my wife's okay. Honorable choice, but you have to wonder, like, Jet Li I don't know Jet Li's roles as well as I do, like, Chow Yun Fat and stuff like that, but I still feel like he would have been good in that role. It would have been interesting seeing, like, the little, like, changes in that. Would have been more stoic or would have been, like, a little more star power right there. Because I feel like for Western audiences probably know Jet Li a little bit more than Chow Yun Fat.
Well, if
So
you're like a movie buff and you just like B movies and you know your martial arts film, you're gonna know Jet Li. I don't know how the difference a Jet Li would have made for a widespread mainstream audience.
yeah, I mean, at that point, I don't think he really broke into America as much. I mean, he had actually, he had Lethal Weapon 4. He was the main villain on that one. So he had that at
Right, but
least.
I'm not saying he didn't have things, but Lethal Weapon 4 into this and then putting us the lead protagonist in the movie. I don't know if he's carrying that much weight, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
He had that and Romeo Must Die.
Yeah, he's it's not exactly heavy hitting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
you as Jen's character,
I would say it's
Yeah.
the same thing. And I think it was reaffirmed when I compared her to Darth Vader, who's my favorite fictional character of all time. You know, everybody likes a good comeback story, right? Somebody with a good antagonist with a good reason to fight, to be on the bad side, and ends up ultimately doing what's right at the end, having that good redemption story at the end there. And I thought that she was just great throughout, just looking like this innocent little Chinese girl, just can
when did
fucking
you
kick
guys
ass.
when did you guys know? Like, because I knew when I saw her, I had a feeling during the first one. I was like, it's gonna be a character we know. And then she kept talking about her freedom. Oh, she's tested out weapons, and then during that second fight sequence, with the police inquisitioner, and I got a look at her eyes, and I was like, I'm 99% positive that's her.
Yeah, I
I
think it was
honestly,
then too.
I think honestly it was the first fight. I think the first fight you can tell through the eyes right there. It's like, okay, it's definitely a character and like right there when she's taking off and everything. It's like, okay, that makes sense. It's
I
her.
had a feeling, but I wasn't 100% sure because
Mm.
I
It
did.
just
Yeah,
it made sense.
it definitely did make sense because actually in that first courtyard scene, doesn't Chow Yun Fat like kind of almost like lift her like mask up?
Well, that's the second fight. The first fight is the escape. I guess it's the first action sequence. Is the courtyard escape sequence.
Yes.
Um,
So that was the second
I
fight.
don't think they really gave it a close up look at her. I knew it was a female. You could just kind of tell, but it wasn't like there wasn't the shots like there were in that second fight sequence where we're introduced to the Jade Fox, um, where there were just close ups of her eyes, and you just go, okay, this is her, right? Like this has to be her. Um, so Zhang Yi,
Yeah.
I apologize for butchering every last name here, but if you've
Yeah,
listened,
yeah.
this is not surprising to anybody.
We're very deep in it.
We're
I've
trying our best here.
mispronounced a
But
lot of names already.
I also really like Michelle Yeoh in this, though.
I do
just
too.
she
Honorable
just
mention.
has so much personality, like, and it just in such a stoic role, she's able to still be very charming.
There's a
Mhm.
lot of depth.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, I think that also the reason that Jen has the best role. That's the best role easily right there. She has the most to do out of like anyone.
She's
Yeah,
the
'cause
she's the focus of the movie,
yeah.
and she just has a lot of meat on the bone to work with that the other two didn't really get, but that's okay.
It's okay.
That is okay.
Are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
All right, fellas. Does Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon work as a Muppet adaptation?
Of course.
I think it definitely could. I feel like the Muppets have like parodied this movie. I feel like the Jason Segel Muppets movie, they had like a brief like kung fu or like martial arts sequence, and it definitely was like pulling from this movie. So yeah, you have like Miss Piggy as what, Jen,
No, you have Janice as Jen.
the human. Jen stays the same, and then
That wasn't what I just said. I said Janice would be the
I think
the
I like having Jen as the human.
just
that'd be
keep
great.
Janice the human.
That
You know what'd be very
that would be hysterical. Just a bunch of Muppets fighting a human.
you know what'd be very funny though is if like Jen stays and she just speaks Mandarin, and then the Muppets speak in English, and we just pretend there's no variation, like there's no language barrier here whatsoever. Like I feel like that'd be very funny. Just,
Yeah. All the Muppets inherently speak Mandarin, but they don't speak it back.
Yes, it would just be very funny, and she inherently can speak English but doesn't speak it back. Like that would be very funny.
Yes, I agree.
Who would be Chow Yun Fat? Who would be Lu? Who would be the master sensei?
Oh man.
Because conventional wisdom says Kermit, right? Like, oh, he's your
Yeah.
protagonist. You put him, but I feel like
I feel like Sam the Eagle's like stoic enough that he can work in that.
I don't know. Sam the Eagle's like Fox News conservative. Like, I don't know if he's.
Yeah.
I'm
So
just
what if
trying to
you?
think. Do the Muppets have a stoic enough character for this role?
I don't think so. Like, I mean, maybe the most stoic one is Bert, and then maybe Chang Chin could be Ernie, and then
Bert is
there's
just
there's the
Squidward.
conflict.
Bert is just Squidward. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but he's still stoic.
I mean, if you have
Squidward is
someone to
stoic
be
in his own way.
I guess Bert would be the best choice.
Yeah, but then and then Chang Chin could
Sure.
be Ernie, and then that's where the initial conflict begins. Like, you stole my best friend. Like,
It could be.
I don't
It
know.
could be.
That's just me. I just want to see Muppets fight around with like swords and shit.
I do too. I'm not even concerned about the casting.
Yeah.
All right.
Nor am I.
Review time. Give me your score out of 5, boys. Tommy,
go for it.
I'll start off. So I think the martial arts sequence in this movie were really good. I think this is a movie that I would have to rewatch a few more times to appreciate a little bit more, especially in the non-fighting scenes. So on first impression, I'm going to go 3.5 out of 5. This was a good movie. I feel like this score would definitely improve on rewatches, but at the moment, I wasn't really as compelled during the non-fight scenes. So again, this is something that probably like maybe just needs more watches, but I don't know. I felt like a little bit checked out sometimes when it wasn't nearly as the connect. Like amazing cinematography, the score rocked, and like the performances were good. But I feel like I just need to soak in this world a little bit more to fully appreciate this movie.
Steve,
I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I liked it. It was good. I love the cinematography. I'm a little bit of a sucker for kung fu movies. And this one surprised me, and it surprised me for a lot of reasons. And once you give your rating, Timmy, Tommy will give you the genesis on why I was asked to be on this podcast. But
okay.
yeah, go for it, Timmy. What's
I
yours?
love. So I'm at a 3 out of 5. I really felt like. I really felt like a lot of the plot was just stale. Like the stuff with Jen was interesting, but the stuff about the sword, it's just like a McMuffin. It doesn't do anything for me. Too much with plot oriented. It was cool to see it like work, like to see the actual implications of it. But it
I
just
think that
felt
drew
like
me in more. I think the whole
so
legend behind the sword was so
well.
cool.
That's why it's my review.
Well, excuse me. I'm trying to bump you up a little bit there, pal.
I appreciate that. But I enjoyed it. Like the martial arts scenes were so sick. I really loved it, but I just like I it was a romance story, and I just felt like half of the romance stuff felt really, really flat. And to the point
Yeah.
that for both of you, you were like, are they having a romance? Like it's not completely
Because it
clear
felt
here.
rushed.
And
That's what it was. You know?
I don't think it was rushed. I think it was just it was doing this very stoic thing where like the most they will do until he's about to die is hold hands. And they do it one time and they just kind of like look longingly at each other, and it's just not with the kind like, and it fits within the characters, but that's just a problem then like don't make their part of this their part of the story, like then introduce the governor and make it more of a political intrigue, like raise the stakes for why she needs to marry this other rival clans.
Maybe holding hands is first base in 19th century China. You don't know.
True.
Could be.
I don't know, but
It's possible.
I felt like it just fell really flat in those moments for me, and I feel like maybe on a rewatch I will enjoy it more, knowing where the story goes and maybe being able to take it more in, because there is a lot of mystery, especially in the first hour of the movie, of like who's who and like kind of like what's going on. Are we going to keep getting introduced to more characters? We don't. But 3 out of 5 for me. Tommy, what is the genesis of Upstairs Steve on this podcast?
I mean, basically, I just texted him saying, "Do you want to be on Crouching Tiger or Hidden Dragon?" He said, "Hell yeah, dude! I love Bruce Lee." And I was like, "You're thinking of Enter the Dragon, you dipshit."
And you know what? He's right. But in my defense, up until this point, I always thought that just Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was just a blowjob joke. But now, and I knew it was a movie. I didn't know who was in it. I knew that there
Do you think it was like a parody movie?
No, I thought it was I thought it was a kung fu movie, and I just happened to think that Bruce Lee was in it. I knew that Enter the Dragon was a Bruce Lee movie.
Okay.
I thought that maybe Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon might be a completely different Bruce Lee movie. Maybe it could have been a sequel to Enter the Dragon. I don't know. I just was confident Bruce Lee was in this movie for some reason. And then I looked at it and I'm like, well, I know zero about this movie. So this is a
It's a good way to go in.
this is a good way to
Yeah.
go into the podcast, I would say. 100%.
So this means eventually we're going to have to cover End of the Dragon. I still haven't seen that movie either.
I haven't seen it either. My kung fu movies knowledge is next to zero.
But yeah, my kung fu movie.
This might be my first like true kung fu movie. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, martial arts. Yeah, movie.
Yeah.
I think
if you count the Matrix movies, but like not really. You know,
I mean, technically,
they take the style, but it's not a kung fu movie.
You can count Everywhere All at Once. I guess that's technically there. Michelle
That's
Yeoh
influenced by it, but I want to see like the schlocky 70s ones.
I've watched a lot of those.
Like that's a kung fu movie.
I watched a lot of those. I did watch a little bit of Enter the Dragon, but I didn't really follow it because I was probably too stoned. So I'll definitely.
Is that the one of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Because I know he's in one of the Bruce Lee movies. Kareem.
I don't know. I watched every kung fu movie that inspired the Wu-Tang Clan, like 36 Chambers of Shaolin, the Shaolin versus the Wu-Tang, like all the stuff where you hear like little snippets of
this
like
explains
kung fu
so
parts.
much about you.
Yeah, no, like I watched those just so I could like be like, oh, that's the part that was featured in Protect Your Neck, and like, oh, that's the part that was featured in that song. And they're still good movies. They're still fun. They're still fun action movies. So there's that. But yeah,
All right.
you know, I enjoyed this one. This was a lot of fun.
Cool. Upstairs, Steve, thank you so much for joining us on. Where can the people find you?
Oh, the people can find me on Instagram at big_mooch821. If you want that uncut, unfiltered, uncensored Steve Muccioli, you could go on to SMUCC6. Should probably for frequent listeners, kind of explain what that means. It's not like I have a OnlyFans and I show my penis on Snapchat or anything like that. I'm a little more comfortable sending Snapchats that are a little more let's say offensive because it gets deleted, gets gone forever. So
it's just on a database somewhere.
Just on a database somewhere until Snapchat's like time capsule of everything you sent in the past 50 years when I'm like 65 years old. And I'm like, well, fuck. Here we go.
Your speaking of China, social credit score. There you go. Okay, that's geopolitics for the day.
Indeed.
Tommy,
where can we
find
you?
Any final thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. You can find us at SCENEIT Pod. That's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're also on Blue Sky. That's podsceneit.bluesky.social. And leave us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Helps us out and helps us grow the show. So
yeah, and it helps the community. You know, it helps.
Yeah,
it helps
the community.
The film reviewing community. It really does.
They need that. They need us. Yeah.
Thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you next time.